Now we're looking at hybrid, and with this, what we just described is the on-prem system that's enabled, and it might have cloud components or components that are extended out into the edge, into the internet with the expressways. So we find that, cloud is cool, right? Cloud's it's a buzzword. And what does it actually bring us? What is the actual improvement? Other than, okay, it's in the internet. It's not on my premise anymore, and I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to deal with upgrading it. That's cool, but how does it actually enhance the collaboration experience? And so just the ability to get those endpoints out there so that they can work with, if you have cloud elements, that just out of the box, it works that way because it's designed to work that way from the ground up. It's not retrofitting an existing system. So you can essentially take it for granted that with a cloud system or with a cloud-enabled system, your soft phones and desk phones work the same way they do outside the corporate network as they do inside the corporate network. You can also leverage different PSTN connections if it makes sense. So for example, you have existing SIP trunks, you've got some gateways, cool, those can work on-prem or cloud. With the cloud system or with a hybrid system which has on-prem and cloud elements, you can have another PSTN connection provided in the cloud. So if you have SIP trunk at HQ, that thing breaks, those calls can then fail over to the cloud PSTN connection and continue to serve your users. So we touched on how it makes a lot of sense to have instant messaging, team spaces, and meetings in the cloud, and we've all kind of gotten used to those things being ubiquitous. Your Zooms, your Microsoft Teams, your WebEx. And the thing about WebEx, though, and we'll touch on this a little bit later, one of the big differentiators is that it comes secure out of the box. It comes encrypted voice, encrypted signaling, encrypted messages. Even the troubleshooting files that you pull down are encrypted, and that is something that the competitors really aren't doing, or you have to, it's like an extra, like an upgrade. And again, E911, it makes more sense if it can nomadically track users over the internet. The on-prem systems just aren't very good at doing that, or it's a kind of complicated thing. But with the cloud native E911 services, they're designed to do that. So this is just a diagram that shows you a little bit how a hybrid system can work. And when I say hybrid, in a Cisco world, we're talking about someone has a call manager, on-premise, HQ, but they also have some WebEx calling folks. And those WebEx calling folks might be your road warriors, or they might be that remote location. All they really need is an internet connection, and they can get telephony services, voice, video communication. So in this case, you might see a call from one of those folks on the internet. It goes through the internet up into the WebEx calling cloud, and if they are trying to get out to another location on the PSTN, they're dialing Pizza Hut or whatever, cool, you can use a cloud PSTN provider, that call goes out, you're connected. If you want to call somebody that's on the call manager, there's a dial plan within that system that will trunk back to the call manager through one of those Cisco gateways. And that Cisco gateway has a configuration on it called local gateway, and it maintains a secure encrypted trunk between your on-premise location, and the WebEx calling cloud. And so it allows you to just 4-digit dial your colleagues on the call manager from WebEx calling. So that is kind of like what a hybrid model looks like. So the advantages of WebEx, I've touched on a lot of these. A couple of them that I haven't mentioned is that you can use existing Cisco hardware to do this. If you have an investment in 7800, 8800 Cisco phones, you can use firmware that will convert, and then they will register to WebEx calling. And in the hybrid model, we can do this firmware migration to and from. And so if you have an investment in like PoE paging speakers, Analog gateways, Cisco ISR routers, they all can be used with WebEx calling. The security, and then NSI and TAC both support both solutions. So this place where you're going to get support for your existing call manager, it's going to remain the same for WebEx calling. There's quite a deep API system for WebEx in general. I won't go into that, but there is a developer website that you can go to, and it's really pretty incredible. And again, I haven't touched on it, but licensing, the Flex, and some of you might be familiar with the Flex contract, but the Flex is designed, I think it's called Flex because it lets you either license your on-premise system or your cloud system or both. And so, we think about licensing in Cisco, and it's a big eye-rolling thing. But the reality is that it is the most flexible licensing model that I've seen in my years of doing it that allow you access to all of those systems at the same time. So you get to make the choices. Both of these systems can be used where it makes sense for your operation to either, you've got an existing system, you extend it out to the internet, you extend it out so your collab services can be had anywhere, or you can have a hybrid model where you have on-prem, you have cloud where it makes sense, or those who are looking for a full cloud solution, you can have that, but you can also have those anchors on-premise where you can have things like survivability. And you really can pick and choose from any of those things with this solution. So, a segue, security, like I said, is a key differentiator for the Cisco product. It's used by a lot of government entities. It can be programmed to fit compliance for high security environments. And again, securing collab, part of that is also securing the network.